Hello and welcome to Christmas Ghost Stories. I'm Adam J. Morgan and I'm here tonight with writer and paranormal historian John West. So I've actually managed to find a Christmas ghost story that relates to Bristol's Christmas steps. I would like to share that with the audience. I'm going to read from the book, and the book is from the 1800s. Darkened by history, the Christmas steps bore witness to a grim chapter back in the 1660s. At the very pinnacle of these steps, a gallows once loomed, casting a long shadow over the unsuspecting passers-by. On moonlit nights, the cries of a man pleading for mercy echo through the cold air, chilling the hearts of those brave enough to tread this path. Those who find themselves here after dusk often report a sensation of being watched, an unsettling reminder that the spirits of yesteryear linger just beyond the veil of our reality. Welcome to the show, John, and I know you have some fascinating Christmas ghost stories for us to discuss tonight.
Yes, it's great to be back on your show, Adam, and looking forward to Christmas as no doubt you are.
Oh, absolutely. My favourite time of year.
Definitely. I hope you get loads of presents.
Before we start, I was pondering on this today, actually. Do you find the idea of ghosts roaming around at Christmas spooky? Because for me, it's the fact that such a joyous season could be full of sorrow, as ghosts simply remind us of the dead.
Yes, well, it's a time when we think of perhaps loved ones who are no longer with us, whether it's friends or old girlfriends that sort of, have gone away, or people who passed on. So we often reflect at this time of year about things that have been, and I don't think there's anything wrong in that. And obviously Christmas was a very traditional time for telling ghost stories anyway. I know Charles Dickens really sort of popularised it, shall we say, with A Christmas Carol and other ghost stories. But yeah, it's been with us a long time, telling ghost stories at Christmas. The short nights, families getting together in front of a fire and they tell stories, and naturally ghost stories would be part of that.
Well, I need to ask you on that note, have you ever seen a ghost at Christmas?
I haven't. I've never seen a ghost at Christmas, so I'm sorry about that. I was hoping, you're probably hoping I was going to regale you with a fantastic tale, but nothing ever happened to me at Christmas that was ghostly, I'm afraid.
Well, no, I was going to ask, not just you, but the audience listening, has anyone ever seen a ghost at Christmas? If you have, please leave a comment. Anyway, John, I can't wait to hear some of the stories that you've been researching. We're all ears. Go for it.
Right, well, the first one, and there's a couple from Suffolk actually, because I live in Suffolk, as you know. Dunwich, which is on the coast, and it was a medieval town, and most of it literally fell into the sea. There was storms, and the cliffs collapsed, and churches fell into the sea. And even now, you can, if divers go under there, you can still see some of the ruins. Although they're not complete or anything, there's literally just foundations. But apparently, between September and December the 24th, which is tomorrow, lights are seen on the cliff paths, and these are known as hobby lanterns or will-o'-the-wisps, and they're supposed to be little spirits. Now that sounds really lovely, but apparently they're not very nice, because they try to lure people over the cliffs to their deaths.
Oh gosh.
So I must say I've never been to Dunwich around that time, so if I see any lights on the cliffs, I'm certainly not going near them. But they're not very nice, those ones, are they? But there you go.
And when did this? How long ago was this? Quite some centuries ago, or recently?
The Dunwich fell into the sea over a period of centuries, but these lights have apparently been seen ever since. I haven't spoken to anyone who's seen them in recent memory, but in the Victorian period and that, people claim to have seen them. Literally, as I said, little lights dancing across the cliff path.
So why are these lights attracting people and making them fall over the cliff? What would cause that?
Well, will-o'-the-wisps, it's a legend that they were evil spirits, and they would literally try to lead someone to their death, whether it was in a marsh, so they'd get you to follow them and then you get sucked into the mud. So it's just a tradition that for some reason they didn't like people and they tried to kill you, basically. So
Charming.
Why they would hate us so much, I don't know, but they obviously didn't like people. Well, the next one is Roos Hall, which is also in Suffolk. It's near Beccles, which is a lovely little town. If any of your listeners ever come to Suffolk, check out Beccles. It's a beautiful market town with a lovely church. And Roos Hall, every Christmas Eve, apparently. Again, I've never seen this myself or met anyone who's claimed to have seen it, but apparently there was a ghostly phantom coach and 4 horses, jet black horses, that would appear on the drive and ride up to the hall and then vanish. But the spooky thing about it was the coachman had no head.
Oh my gosh. What is that all about? What's that all about? There's a lot of stories about headless horsemen.
There are. There's loads. There's no explanation why he hasn't got a head. Whether he lost it in an accident or something. But then again, you could say, well, how does he know where to go if he can't see? But that's the legend that's been around Roos Hall for quite a long time. As I said, I've never met anyone who's seen this. But Roos Hall is quite a badly haunted property. Inside there's supposedly a little girl that appears at a window. A cloven hoof is burnt into a brick, which is supposed to be the devil. He visited there for some reason. And there's a tree in the grounds of the hall called the Nelson tree, and apparently it was used for hangings, and a man and woman have been seen under it. Supposedly people were executed there, so it's quite a haunted place.
So years ago, from history, there wasn't always gallows, were there? It was always you'd be hanged from the nearest tree.
Yes, yeah, the hanging tree. So if it was a sturdy tree and it had a good branch and you'd done something wrong, then they had no problem with hanging you from it.
Oh gosh, terrible.
Good old days, eh?
I'll let you tell your next story.
Certainly. Well, there's a weird one. It's nothing to do with ghosts, actually. It's supernatural, and it's particular to Sweden. And apparently at Christmas time, if this would only apply to men, so if there's any ladies that want to try this, it's not going to work, I'm afraid. But if you wanted to turn yourself into a werewolf, you could at Christmas time. You had to go into a wood or a cellar and mutter some secret words, which sadly I don't have, and get a cup of ale and make a toast to the Wolfman. And then you'd be transformed, and you could go out and you could attack houses, kill the inhabitants, go into their cellar and drink their ale. And that is a genuine legend. It's a bit strange, but there you go. Whether anyone tried it and it worked, I do not know. But why that can only happen at Christmas is something that's perhaps best known to werewolves.
I mean, that is creepy. And I was just thinking as well, when you were telling that story, you've done a lot of research because you've written several books, haven't you?
Yes,
so, what is anniversary ghosts all about? Because we're talking about Christmas. Is it like a replay of something horrific that's happened in a certain point in time?
Yes, well, there is the stone tape theory, and certain things are replayed on the anniversary of when it happened, whether it's like a battle, like an English Civil War battle, and people go there on the anniversary of the battle taking place, and they see it fall in the sky, or they see phantom soldiers, or a particular ghost that only appears on a certain day and it walks through a wall. So whether it's to do with the atmosphere and it's like almost like a videotape on a loop, constantly replaying at a certain point, who knows? That's the theory, anyway.
Well, going back to the Christmas steps in Bristol, I was wondering as well why people would be witnessing or hearing rather the sounds of one ghostly cry. If we link that in with the gallows at the top of Christmas steps, why would it be one ghostly cry? Surely there would be more. Or is it perhaps the sound of several ghosts that people are witnessing?
It could be. I must admit I hadn't heard of that tale until you told me, but it could be more than one groan. The same argument applies to a battle, that only some soldiers are seen and not all of them. I mean, if you've got a battle with like 5,000 people and 2,000 of them died, then why isn't there 2,000 ghosts? Why are they only seen like at Marston Moor, 4 men stumbling along a road? Why isn't it hundreds? So that again, that's something that we'll probably never know. There's so many theories about ghosts, and I honestly believe that we'll never really get to the bottom of the real reason behind hauntings. There's various explanations, whether it's a stone tape, spirits of the dead. There are probably loads of different reasons why ghosts appear, but that's why it's such a mystery, because we're never really going to solve it. It's like, who was Jack the Ripper? We're never really going to find out who he was, and that's the fun of it, isn't it? It's a mystery.
Yeah. So, John, I'm sure you got some more stories for our listeners. I'll let you carry on.
Oh, thank you. Well, Anne Boleyn, obviously everyone's heard of her, second wife of Henry VIII, who lost her head. She grew up at Hever Castle in Kent, which is actually open to the public, and I've never been there, but apparently it's a lovely place to visit. Now, she haunts Hever Castle, whether she's drawn back because, she's got fond memories of growing up there as a child, but she's always seen around Christmas, which apparently was her favourite time of the year as well. She's seen on Christmas Eve crossing a bridge over the River Eden, walking towards the castle. And at other times of the year, she's seen in the gardens and also under a big oak tree that apparently Henry VIII courted her under. So yeah, she gets about a bit, though, Anne Boleyn, because she's been seen in the Tower of London, she's been seen in Norfolk and other places, so she's quite a busy ghost.
Do these ghosts ever try and interact with people, or are they just, like you said earlier, the stone tape theory and just replays?
She's never interacted with anyone. For instance, when she was seen in the Tower of London in the chapel there, it was just a soldier looked through the window and saw her walking up the aisle with a load of other people in Tudor costume, and they never sort of acknowledged him or anything like that. So I do think some ghosts are literally recordings, but there are other cases where spirits have interacted with people, which would suggest that they're the spirits of the dead. But certainly with Anne Boleyn, I'm not aware of any cases where she's actually tried to speak to someone or approach them.
What is your personal belief? I mean, it sounds like you're not quite sure. Do you believe it where people are witnessing the dead, or are they simply seeing a recording?
Well, I believe that there are different types of ghosts. This is my personal opinion. I believe some are literally recordings. Some are crisis apparitions where perhaps someone is on the point of death and appears to a loved one to say their goodbyes. Others are literally spirits of the dead who for some reason can't move on, don't want to move on, they're desperate to communicate with a loved one. I mean, there's cases of where a spirit has told someone where money's hidden or a will. So I literally think there are different explanations. I mean, perhaps some ghosts are even time slips, they're literally not ghosts, they're just someone from another time is briefly interacting with our time, we see them, and perhaps to them, we're the ghosts. So I think there's different explanations. I don't believe that you can just say ghosts are one thing. I think there's several different reasons for ghosts appearing.
And also, I personally believe that some of us are gifted and we can see spirit. Some of us can't.
Definitely. I would agree with that. A lot of people who've got Celtic ancestry seem to be more susceptible to seeing ghosts. I think you've got to be very open. I mean, I know it's perhaps a bit of a cliche, but women are apparently more open to seeing spirits than men, whether it's because, they're perhaps more emotional. I don't want to get into trouble saying that. But, I think there's some people, are more in tune with it psychically, whether it's a medium or someone like that. I mean, I know people who can go into a haunted property and be overwhelmed by emotions because they're picking up things that happened there, and others will go in and they can't feel a thing.
Wow. What a staggering difference.
Yes, but perhaps it's a bit of a curse if you could pick up everything, because you imagine if you go into a building that's hundreds of years old, like the Tower of London, the suffering that went on there, if you picked up all the emotions and pain of the people that died there, God, it'd be overwhelming. And I have spoken to several mediums who are able to sort of block that. They've trained themselves to cut it off, so it only happens when they want it to.
Yeah.
I've got another one anyway from Kent, if you want to hear it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a Hawkhurst highwayman, Hawkhurst Road, and apparently this is dates from the 18th century. And one Christmas Eve, there was a highwayman named Gilbert, and he stopped a carriage and horses on the road to rob them. And there was a man in there with his daughter. The daughter got out. Now, whether the coachman took advantage of that distraction and then rode off, or the horses panicked, the coach and horses tore off and left the poor girl with a highwayman. But then she recognised the highwayman as a man who'd murdered her brother a year earlier. He'd been robbed and he'd shot him.
Oh, gosh.
And she wasn't gonna go the same way, so she pulled out a knife and stabbed him to death. And basically, anyway, the coach and horses, the coachman came back with the father, and they found the highwayman dead. And they found the daughter in the woods, and she'd gone stark raving mad, and apparently she was never cured. So they buried the highwayman literally where he died, unconsecrated ground. And it's said that every Christmas Eve from then on till now, that murder is reenacted. So you see the girl, and motorists have claimed to have seen this figure of a highwayman being stabbed by this girl, and it's literally constantly replayed, an endless loop. So, you know, whether that's the stone tape kicking in, whether it's because of the heightened emotions, you know, her fear, his shock at being stabbed and realised he was dying, and those emotions printed themselves into the fabric of the area.
Yeah, just to speak for the audience listening tonight, I don't want to spoil things for everyone, but if you've heard stories that there was a replay of every anniversary at Christmas, would someone not go with cameras and capture this and share it with the world?
People have tried. The trouble is no one knows the exact time it happened, so you'd have to stay there 24 hours. It could have been the early hours of the morning or the last few minutes of the night. But yes, you're quite right. I mean, for instance, Marston Moor, ghosts are supposedly seen on the anniversary of the battle, but people have gone there and sometimes they see them, but sometimes nothing happens. But I've often found that the thing is, if you're literally going out to see a ghost, 9 times out of 10 nothing will happen. I've often spoken to people who've witnessed apparitions, and they've never been expecting to see whatever they saw, and they always tend to be relaxed in their mind. So whether you've sort of got to be really relaxed and just sort of chilling out, shall we say, to see these things, I don't know. But I've often found people who go purposely to see a ghost and they're all worked up. I've got to see the ghost, I'm going to see it. They never do.
Yeah, because I'm thinking anniversary ghost, right, let's find out when it happens, the location, let's take all our cameras and film, and we're bound to capture it. And then, but then I suppose, do cameras actually pick up ghosts? We don't know that for sure, do we?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of photographs of ghosts out there, but sadly with AI and that, there's so many fake stuff out there now, although it's getting so good as well, you can't really tell the difference between a fake and a real photograph. But, I mean, there's some famous ones. I mean, there's the Brown Lady of Raynham Hall, although some people claim that was a fake, taken in the 30s of this figure gliding down the stairs, which...
Oh, I remember that one. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There was a phantom monk that was captured in a church. I can't remember the name of the church, but the weird thing was he had a cloth covering his face, as if he was like a leper or something, and that was taken by a vicar. There's quite a few. There was another one in a church where a chap, I think it was the 1950s, took a photograph and the church was empty. When he developed it, there was a vicar sitting in the pew looking at him, but he was transparent. So there's some that can't be explained away, but there's a lot of fakes out there. And as I said, sadly with AI now, it's got even worse. But I do believe under certain circumstances, perhaps a ghost could be captured on camera.
I do remember one from a book many years ago as well, of a set of steps, and it might have been in a church or somewhere, and there was a ghost halfway up the step running up the steps.
Oh, that was Greenwich. That was I think the late 1960s, and they took a photograph. I think it was a tulip staircase. I think it was called that, and there was no one on the stairs. When the photograph was developed, it was like 2 figures going up the stairs, transparent, and one had a ring on his finger, and it was almost like the one below it was pursuing the other one.
Wow.
And they checked the negative, it hadn't been interfered with, that area was closed off. The person who took the photograph swore that no one had tried to go up the stairs while he took it, because he said I would have seen them. Peter Underwood, the great author and ghost hunter, was a great champion of that photograph, and it is online, so if you type in the Greenwich tulip staircase ghost, it will come up and people will see what we mean.
I'm going to flash it up on screen for you all now so you can all see it. There's the magic of post-production.
Brilliant.
After you, John, carry on, please. We're very intrigued.
All right. Well, Lady Ursula is another ghost that turns up at Christmas, and that's Maddenley Hall in Cambridgeshire. And this happened apparently during the reign of Elizabeth I. Her son was Francis Hyde. He was an MP, and he decided to knock down the church. And because he wanted to rebuild his mansion, and he used stone from the church in it. Now, his mother had already died apparently at this point, but her ghost was so angry at what he'd done, because she was a staunch Catholic and he'd knocked down what had been a Catholic church, that every Christmas Eve in protest she now appears on the site of where the church once stood and walks towards the hall, and then basically spends Christmas Eve wandering around the hall haunting people. So again, I haven't spoken to anyone who's seen her, but that's a tradition. And also other lady ghosts have been seen in the grounds around about this time, wandering around. So whether they're friends of Lady Ursula, I don't know. But anyway, there you go. So it's another ghost. If you want to go there tomorrow, Christmas Eve, and hang around the church, the site of the church for 24 hours, she might turn up for you.
Oh, amazing. And I hope people are really enjoying these and commenting below with any of their stories, or if they've heard about the stories you're sharing. But before we go, John, you've got a book that's just become available. Can you talk to us about your new book and why you wrote it as well?
Oh, yes. It's called the Poltergeist Casebook. It was literally published this week. So just in time for Christmas. That'll be a bit late now to get it as an early Christmas present. It's got an introduction by Damon Wilson, the son of Colin Wilson, the famous writer. Forward by Jason Figgis, the film director, and an afterword by Alan Murdy of the Ghost Club. And it's a study of poltergeists. It includes the Enfield case, Cock Lane case, Epworth Rectory. It's going to be turned into a documentary. The reason why I wrote it is because basically I'm fascinated by poltergeists and what causes them. And again, there's various different explanations which are mentioned in the book. And I won't spoil the fun of the readers people who want to buy it. So I won't say too much about my conclusions. But it's available in the shops now, and you can order it from Waterstones or Foyles, and it's $9.95 paperback.
And there we go, a picture of it up on screen for you all now, so you can see what it looks like. And just quickly, John, what made you want to write this book?
Well, I've always been fascinated by poltergeists, and I wanted to do another ghost book. And I grew up in Enfield in the 1970s, so I can remember in the playground talking about the Green Street poltergeist, and also I used to go down that street with my mum, and because she used to have her hair done down there. So I had a personal connection with that area, and I just wanted to write a book on poltergeists, and with the Enfield connection, I thought, why not? And also Jason Figgis, the director, wanted to do a documentary on poltergeists. So I basically expanded the narration for the documentary into a book, and Alan Murdy, Jason, and Damon Wilson kindly contributed. So I'm really chuffed. I'm very pleased with it. So that's my fourth publication on the paranormal now.
Amazing. That is amazing. And do you know where the documentary will be available?
It'll be made next year. I couldn't give you a date when it's out, but it will be done next year at some point. And no doubt when it's out, I can perhaps come back and talk about it.
Oh, fantastic. I would love to do that.
One thing before we go, I was in York in September making a documentary called The Ghost Chronicles, which is all about the ghosts of York, with a wonderful team from Australia and directed by Jason Figgis, and I appear in it as a presenter, and I also wrote it, and that will definitely be out next year. It's going to be streamed first of all on Ghostflix TV in Germany, but it will also be shown on other networks in due course, but that should be out sometime in the spring.
Fantastic. I'll definitely be watching that one as well.
Brilliant. And we hope to do some more if there's enough interest.
Oh, amazing. Absolutely amazing. My favourite, I've always loved paranormal stuff. UFOs, ghosts, crop circles, you name it. It's always, I think, strange. I have to blame Strange But True, the Michael Aspel 1990s series for that.
Oh, I remember that. I'm probably a little bit older than you, and I can remember going back to the Arthur C. Clarke's Mysterious World and things like that.
Oh no, I've got that on DVD. So he'd done a series in 1980, and then 1985, and then I think finally 1996, I believe.
Yes, yeah, I love those shows. Yeah, it's very good, Arthur C. Clarke. So yeah, but I've been fascinated by ghosts since I was a kid. But it was my mum; she had loads of books on the subject, so she started my interest. Thanks, Mum.
Yeah, I'm not sure where mine come from. I think it was just picking up a book at school and seeing these spooky old pictures, Osborne Book of Ghosts or World of Ghosts or something like that.
Oh, I've got that actually. I've got an original edition. They reprinted it, didn't they? With Reece Shearsmith did a new introduction.
Oh wow, okay.
Brilliant book. It's well worth getting. The original editions go for a lot of money, but the reprint is still out there. And as I said, it's got an introduction by Reece Shearsmith. So check it out. It's a brilliant book. No doubt you'll probably put a picture of the cover on.
But there it is.
Brilliant. Good stuff.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you, John, as always, and I hope you have the most amazing Christmas.
You too.
And I hope you don't get haunted by the ghosts of Christmas past as well.
Oh, well, I'm sure if they do, they'll be nice, and it'll be the ghosts of Christmas present. I'm just worried about the ghosts of Christmas future, what they're going to reveal.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, John. Thank you for your time as always.
Thank you. You take care. God bless.
For those of you who are still listening, a very Merry Christmas and thanks for tuning in.